Campus of St. Augustine Prep. We are here at the Navone Pool for our St. Augustine Prep Hermits swim team as they take on Salesianum. Obviously, we start with the 200 medley relay. Hermits kind of ramping up into the season at this point. Salesianum kind of the first big opponent. Defeated Ocean City last week. But as they get more into the season, you're going to see them get a little faster as they get closer and closer to playoffs, start power pointing, kind of ramping up towards the season. So this is kind of the first of that. Salesianum's always been a tough challenge for the Hermits. But the Hermits have won past handful of meets, so all been close. Sorry about that. I'm talking with one of our student workers here who's running the camera. But that was the JV heat. So we are headed into the varsity race right now. Let me make sure that I got this right. So it looks like for varsity for the Hermits will be in lane 5, Christian Shank, Dante Buenadonna, Jonah Alvarez, Parker Lapsley. In lane 3, it's Jackson Cummings, Ben Stanker, Cade Spencer, and John Paul Mazza. And in lane 7, it's Connor Bogan, Carter Sinalski, Anthony Tramp, and John Frankus. And for Salesianum, so handwriting the coach gave me for the first one's a little out there, but this one looks like in lane 2 is Andre Stuckley, Jack Cornery, Jeff Malarick, and Zach Baldwin. Lane 4 is Bryce Patterson, Nate Miller, Ben Lunster, and Sebastian Hess. In lane 6 is Brett Lewis, Jack Hansen, Nolan Burns, and Max Wool. So again, the 200 medley relay, each swimmer does 100 in their particular stroke discipline. Looks like the Hermits are out in front with Salesianum close behind for those front two. Looks like Hermits got a decent lead in third, because actually the next closest, if you can see, is the top in lane 7. So it looks like the Hermits are at 1, 3, and 4. But obviously those are some pretty big points if you can go 1, 3 as opposed to 2, 3, 4. So Hermits are first in the pool for the final 100 of this race. I'm sorry, final 50 of this race as they go into the freestyle. But you can kind of see right there in lane 5, the Hermits got a big lead, but actually lane 3 came back and passed Salesianum, so the Hermits might actually take a 1-2 here. As you can see, they finished there in first, a time of 1:56.40. They take second. Salesianum will take third, but their touchpad I don't think registered, so I'm going to have to kind of figure that out in the scoreboard. I'm sure they'll update the scoreboard down there and let us know, but my back of the hand math is going to maybe be a little off. But I have the Hermits going 1-2, which would give them a 12-2 lead. And so I'll wait till the scoreboard confirms that, but I'm going to throw it up on the scoreboard right here. Next we go into the 200 free, which for Salesianum I have in 2, Emery Hess. In lane 4, Tim Hanaway. And in lane 6, Bradley Woodson. And for the Hermits, I have in lane 5, Anthony Mortalite. In lane 3, Jonah Alvarez. And in 7, Cade Spencer. I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. So that's going to be for the varsity. This is for JV. See if I can find the JV list for the Hermits. That should be lane 5, John Francis. Lane 3, Connor Bogan. Lane 7, Pat Carvajal. So the Hermits will take first in this JV match. This JV 200 free. Second place goes to Salesianum. Third, the Hermits. Fourth, Salesianum. And fifth, Salesianum. As we wait for the swimmers to exit the pool, Hermits should lead 12-2. And that is on the varsity side. We just saw the JV 200 free. Actually, this is the JV. I don't know, mixed them up. Looked like the first race didn't have a whole lot of guys in it, so I kind of mistakenly went there. But either way, as the JV lineup sheet for the Hermits in this 200 IM is just Owen Morley in lane 5. I don't think my score is correct. So I think I got that first JV match as the actual varsity. So I'm going to leave that up there. The scoreboard still shows 0-0 here in the pool deck, but we will update that. Worst case scenario at the break when I'll walk down and figure out the correct score. I do know on that last heat, the Hermits got 9 points by finishing first, third, and sixth. And Salesianum got 7 points by finishing second, fourth, and fifth. All right, so that'll move us on to the 200 IM, the individual medley, similar to the medley relay. They're going to do 50 up and back of each stroke. So it starts off with the butterfly. And for the Hermits, the 200 IM will be lane 5, Dante Bonadonna, lane 3, Jackson Cummings, and lane 7, Ben Stanker. And for Salesianum, it'll be in lane 2, Nate Miller, lane 4, Bane Luncher, and lane 6, Connor Schleicher. Looks like Bonadonna's out to a big lead. The Hermits are actually going 1, 2, 3 right now. Yeah, it's close. That 1, 2, and 3 are pretty close to the Salesianum guys. You can see Bonadonna's way out in front. But as of right now, the Hermits will be taking home a bunch of points, the max points that you can get. And obviously, maybe the middle lane swimmer for Salesianums are better, freestyle or the different strokes as we go along, but either way, this looks like to be a big event for the Hermits, as Bonadonna's already out of screen by the time you see these other guys check in, but not quite a body length between the third and fourth for the Hermits. As you can see right in that middle of your screen, Bonadonna kind of run away with it, leading by over half a pool length. But the Hermits still holding on to 2-3. Bonadonna goes at 152.78, which is pretty close to the record. The current record holder is Matt Joyce way back in 2007 with 151.64. So just about a second away, and we're early in the season. Bonadonna might be able to get that by the time we're done. But the Hermits go 1, 2, 3. So they will gain themselves 13 points to Salesianum's 3. Now again, I don't know if I got the first event correct. So my score may be off, but we will check that after the 50 free. Now we will go into JV. And for the Hermits in JV, 200 IM. I said Owen Mosley for the Hermits. In lane 5. Salesianum's got a big program here. They're always the ones that usually ask for this JV match too to get their guys some time. Hermits don't always fill the lanes here with their JV guys, but it looks like they will pretty much after the 100 fly. But Salesianum, a big team, deep team. It's always one of the best in Delaware. Hermits won this last year, 126-44. The year before that one was the closer one, where it was 192.5 to 77.5 versus Salesianum. And then actually all the way back in 2018, Hermits won this 87-83. So there's been some close matches over the years, but the Hermits have dominated the last couple. Looks like they're going to do well again today. Salesianum is 6-1 on the year. Wins over Newark Charter, Cedar Rosny, Father Judge, Sanford School, Tower Hill, and Brandywine. They did lose to LaSalle. The Hermits almost had LaSalle on the schedule, but it just couldn't quite, who's open what date. Both teams got to have it free in the league schedule. Who's got all the other individual races and stuff like that. But Hermits do have a competitive schedule again with Cape Atlantic League as we're in the 50 free. Actually, it's the quickest race in the pool. Looks like Salesianum's out to a little bit of a lead in lane 4. Hermits close behind, actually. Lane 7 almost took it from him. Salesianum kicked first in lane 4 with a time of 22.5, and Hermits came in second in lane 7 with a time of 22.17. So the Hermits will go second, 4th, and 5th. Means the Hermits get 4, 5, 6, 7 points to Salesianum's 9. Again, my score is unofficial. For the Hermits there in the 50 free, it was Parker Lapsley in lane 5, and Ziller in 3, and Frank Ferzetti in lane 7. Salesianum, it was Sebastian Hess in 2, Alex Tesaris in 4, and Dylan Reisenbach in lane 6. So again, my score is unofficial, but we will check it out after the break. So we're going to do this JV heat right here. So for the Hermits JV, they have Mitchell Johnson in lane 5 and Joe Tortella in lane 3. Like I said, the Hermits got a pretty good schedule. Faced Kingsway this year, beat them. Obviously, Ocean City, you're going to have Mainland later in the year. EHT is ranked, I think, 12th, 16th, somewhere in there. Hermits are ranked number 1. And then the big one on the 26th as they face number 3, Cherry Hill East, which is probably going to be for the best team in South Jersey. But, over the last however many years, it's been a lot of, the top teams in New Jersey has been a lot of St. Augustine, CBA, Cherry Hill East. And so that can kind of go a long way in seeing, who's going to be the top-ranked team at the end of the school year. Obviously, Westfield is in CBA's bracket. So those 4 teams, we're going to face Cherry Hill East and then maybe CBA in the playoffs if we both advance. And Cherry Hill East is going to face Westfield in the playoffs. TBA faces Westfield in the regular season. So all those matches will be pretty big and determine the number 1 team in the state at the end of the year. Having said that, looks like we are at our break. So we will send it to commercial and be back right after this. We are back with the 100 fly. Sorry, I had to help my photographer down there during that break. Got back a little late. For the Hermits, it's Jonah Alvarez in 5, Cade Spencer in 3, and Giovanni Cattiana in lane 7. The Hermits will take first and third and fourth. The Hermits go first, third, fourth. Correction on the score, it should have been 36-26 before that race. So the Hermits went first, third, and fifth. And first, third, and fourth. They got 11 points there. That'll bring their total up to 47. And there'll be 5 points for Salesianum. We'll bring them to 31. So the JV will step up here. Hermits have just Gabriel Clay in lane 5. Actually, looks like he lined up in lane 3, but all the same. Gabriel Clay for the Hermits. But on the sheet I got from the coaches, had him line up 5. But I guess when you're the only one jumping in lane or jumping in the pool for your team, you can really pick whatever lane you want. See Clay in lane 3, out to a pretty big lead. A little over half a pool. And the magic number is 85 you're going to want to get to. Hermits are currently at 47. 16-point lead. Good size lead for the Hermits, but you never want to rest on your laurels. Teams will be able to come back on you. You know, it's all about matchups. You could have a pretty good relay team, but if Salesianum's got too faster, then all of a sudden they're making up a lot of ground pretty quick. So that was the JV 100 fly. Next is the 100 free. And for the Hermits in the 100 free, it'll be in lane 5, Frank Frazzetti. In lane 3, Vince Ziller, and in lane 7, Andrew Newman. And for Salesianum, it'll be, let me switch cameras after they jump in the pool. So in lane 2, it'll be Dylan Ristenblatt, 4, Alex Tzankas, and 6, Emery Hess. So 100 is just up, back, up, back. Hermits look to be in first for now. Lane 2 for Salesianum is actually keeping them close with lane 5 for the Hermits. Looks like he's pulled away a little bit. Lane 7 for the Hermits doing well too. This is a pretty tight race as we come to the final 25. Lane 5 for the Hermits has got a pretty solid lead, but everything else is up for grabs. As you can see, Hermits finish first. Salesianum takes second in lane 4, third in lane 3. Hermits take fourth and 6th. Hermits go 1, 4, and 6. That will give them 8 points. That's to their lead. And Salesianum goes second, third, and 5th. 8 points. So nobody gains any ground there. Again, all my math is kind of back of the napkin. Looking up. Maybe a touchpad doesn't go off here, miss something there, could be different, and I'll update you as the scoreboard on the pool deck gets updated. Looked like there was a little confusion because the one touchpad didn't register in the relay, the medley relay, that they actually didn't update the score at all until the break when the referees could confirm. So if anything that happens, again, my scoreboard is unofficial until I see it on the board. So this will be the JV 100 free. And for the Hermits, make sure, it looks like they got 2 swimmers in for the Hermits. I have 3 listed on my sheet. It has Mitchell Johnson in 5, Kevin Nagel in 3, and Stefan Dragos in 7. Obviously, the Hermits look like they're not swimming anybody in 3, so maybe that means that Kevin Nagel isn't in the pool. But like I said, sometimes the person just switched lanes on me last time, so it could be a case of, maybe it is Nagel, maybe Nagel moves to 7 while the other guy hopped out of the pool. But either way, those are the names listed on the team sheet given to me. Looks like I was off by 1 point on the last one, so it is 56-38 Hermits. And it'll bring us to the 500 free, the longest race of the day. Big event here for the Hermits. Could put them close to pretty much clinching it. .500 free is up. Hermits record holder is Mike McCarthy with a time of 4 minutes, 31.76 seconds, set last year. He is not in the pool today. That is Anthony Mordelite in lane 5, Christian Schenk in 3, and Billy Jenkins in lane 7. Anthony Mordelite headed to Townsend next year on a swimming scholarship. hit that last lap yet. So some big events. Hermits coming up. They got Mainland at Mainland on the 17th. Home versus Egg Harbor Township on the 22nd. Home versus Vineland on the 24th. And then Cherry Hill East at home on the 26th. As Mortal Elite heads onto his last lap with the sound of that horn. The Hermits take first place, and Anthony Morley putting up a time of 4:38.28. Only 7 seconds off McCarthy, so you wonder if they'll be battling for that record the rest of the year. Because if that's Morley's time right now, he can definitely get below 4:31. Hermits take third as well, with Salesianum taking second. And Salesianum takes fourth, and the Hermits will take fifth. So the Hermits go first, third, fifth. And the Hermits get another 10 points. Salesianum's 5. Should be 66-43. And we'll wait for confirmation on the scoreboard. As they hop into the pool for the JV heat of the 500 free, Hermits have Anthony Tramp in 5, Sean Dugan in 3, and Owen Morley in 7. So if I am reading this right, as I'm kind of like quiet there for a little bit, it looks like they combined the boys non-public into just one group this year. And they put them in the North and South, which hasn't happened a while. It's been A and B, and they've all been in one group. So looking at NJ.com, looks like the Hermits are lumped in there with CBA, so that'll be a huge non-public South final, you would assume, which has been like that for years. It's honestly, it's the first time you've seen one of these go to that in a while, because it's been kind of separated. Like wrestling, was non-public North and South, A and B. And now they condensed into one. It's just one thing, kind of like lacrosse and hockey. They're just one big tournament. But you have soccer, which is North and South. Where they draw the lines for South can be a little weird, but I get it. There's just more teams up north, so sometimes Pingree's in the South. CBA's always been in the South, even though they're an hour and a half up from us. But I don't know, that's interesting for the Hermits, because in the last couple of years it's been like you get CBA in the finals if you can make it. CBA's been the best team in New Jersey, arguably, since 2010. It was the Hermits before that, but since 2010, CBA's won all but 3 titles. 2 from the Hermits, 1 from Seton Hall. So it's kind of like, hey, if you make it to the final, you kind of expect to see CBA there. Because even in the years that they lost, in 2017-23, the Hermits beat CBA. And when Seton Hall won it, like I said, the Hermits got upset by Seton Hall. I think they could have won it all that year, but CBA was the team that they beat. So I think CBA's been in the finals every year since like 2010. I could be wrong. I'm looking at our scoreboard and our record board to confirm my dates, but that's kind of a guess on CBA, but it just shows you how good they've been. So if the Hermits get CBA in the South, and that looks like about it. Notre Dame, Eustis, Paul VI, Gloucester Catholic, St. Rose, Donovan Catholic, Wildwood Catholic, Camden Catholic, Rutgers Prep, Wilberforce. No offense to any of those teams, but they're not exactly in the same league as CBA and St. Augustine Swimming. It's interesting because you get the toughest team in your group final, but that means you only have to face CBA. Well, I guess if you got the second seed in years past, you'd always just get a double bye, so it didn't really matter anyway. But I was going to say you don't have to face a Seton Hall and CBA, Bergen and CBA, St. Peter's and CBA to get to the state finals. But if the Hermits were really only facing 2 of them last year anyway, then maybe it's not any easier for them. But it is interesting how they're separated into those 2 categories. Right now, the Hermits have the higher power points, but as I said, it's early in the year. Not everybody's at every race, especially with the club guys. So you never know how things fully go yet until you start getting these last couple of ones. But yeah, Hermits only faced Seton Hall and Christian Brothers with the triple bye, whatever it was, the triple bye anyway. So still going to just have to face 2 of those teams. But now it looks like you're guaranteed basically CBA a round earlier, where you might not be in the state finals. You might just see them in the state semis for the South Jersey finals. So interesting. I wonder if they put another board up that says South Jersey titles, even though it look weird because there hasn't been a South Jersey title, and I don't know if there's ever been one for non-public swimming. So yeah, it's an interesting little wrinkle this year. I think I remember hearing about that, but I'm kind of like going through the NJ.com website and NJSIA website and kind of confirming. But yeah, looks like it is just one big playoff. Curious to how many teams make it, because I know they used to do that kind of like double bye. Look at the swim tournament schedule. It really just kind of goes by. So. Either way, we're done the 500 free JV, and that'll bring us on to 200 free relay. And as the swimmers head in the pool, let me pull up sheet for the Hermits. The 200 free relay in lane 5, it should be Frank Frazzetti, Parker Lapsley, Vince Ziller, and Anthony Mortalite for the Hermits. And lane 3, Andrew Newman, John Paul Mazza, Alex Morrison, and Ben Stanker. In lane 7, Noah Calderong, Mitchell Johnson, Sean Dugan, and Joe Tortella. For Salesianum, it'll be Jeff Matlick, Andre Strutsky, Zach Baldino, and Jack Hansen in lane 2, and Nolan Ristenblatt, Alex Zazunas, Sebastian Hess, and Nate Miller in lane 4, and Nolan Burns, Emery Hess, Max Moore, and Tim Hanaway in lane 6. Took my eyes off the pool for a little bit to kind of read those names. Looks like the Hermits got a little bit of a lead in lane 5. Salesianum second in lane 2, and by about the same distance between first and second to second and third as the Hermits hold down third place. Again, in these relays, only the first three places get points. First 5 and individual. And it looks like Hermits will take first and third, with Salesianum coming in second. So the first and third for the Hermits means they get 10 points to Salesianum's 4. So it should be 76 to 47. 48. Looks like they had him at 44 headed into the last race. Hermits getting close to that 85 mark, which guarantees them the win. But 20-point lead here is pretty steep to come back from. 28-point lead now. At this point, the Hermits could. You just got to put swimmers in the pool, and even if Salesianum takes the first 3, they got two individuals and 1 relay. Means you would be guaranteed 3, 6, 7, 8. So you would be 1 off. So Hermits just got to do better than finishing in the last 3 places on the final 3 races to clinch this for the Hermits. I have a feeling that won't happen. Yes, looks like the Hermits will take first in JV. Salesianum takes second, third. Hermits will take fourth. That will bring us to the 100 back. And Hermits lead 76-48, and all they really need here to mathematically clinch is to not go 6th, 5th, 4th. I have a feeling they'll do better than that and might get over that 86 number here as well. Again, 85 gets you a tie. 86 guarantees you a win. just because it's 170 points in a swim match. Well, the swimmers head off. For the Hermits, in lane 5 will be Christian Schenk. In lane 3, Jackson Cummings. In lane 7, Giovanni Cattiana. And for Salesianum, it'll be lane 2, Brady Lewis. Lane 4, Bryce Patterson. And in lane 6, Connor Schlecker. It looks like the Hermits have that lead in lane 5. Coast to Salesianum 2-3. But lane 3 for the Hermits hanging tough. We head into the last 25. Looks like on that turn, the Hermits in lane 3 might have jumped a position. As you can see them coming in for... Hermits actually jumped 2 possessions. Hermits went 1-2. So that'll clinch them to meet. 10 there for that. Hermits went 1, 2, and 6. So the Hermits will get 10 points. Salesianum 6. Again, the Hermits mathematically win the meet there, and the 100 back. Still 2 events left. Either way, let's go back to PowerPoints, because now I'm interested. So again, it takes your average of the 3. Looks like Hermits have a higher PowerPoint average than CBA. They got 3,235 average, where CBA's got 2,870. Again, doesn't quite matter too much early, because you're going to get better and better times as you go along. I remember following it last year. Like, the Hermits jumped out, CBA crept close. Actually, CBA, I think, got passed by Peters. Like, they ended up being the 3 seed, not the 2, or something. I forget. It was the 4 and 5 flip-flopped, and so all of a sudden it seemed like the Hermits had a harder one versus Seton Hall. Like, I think they were kind of hoping that they were on the other side of the bracket. But Seton Hall almost beat them. You know, I mean, Seton Hall was very good last year, reigning state champs last year. But it looks like the Hermits have a higher average right now. Their highest being the, oddly enough, the Atlantic City meet. First one of the year. Usually don't see that as the highest scoring power-pointed meet, just because the faster the meet, the faster the guy next to you going, the faster you're going to go. But yeah, that's the thing. So you look at CBA's average, and it's lower than the Hermits because they're throwing out, 1,000 here, 1,700 there when they know they're going to win. They get a deep team, so I think they're just kind of rotating their guys. But you look at their meet, looks like they really tried to go out and win against St. John's Prep from Massachusetts, where they'd won 96-74. They scored 34-68, 3,468 power points in that meet, which is higher than the Hermits' current highest, which is Atlantic City at 3,346. Again, these power points don't mean too much. I mean, the Hermits had the highest power pointed meets the last couple of years, if you just kind of go by, like, what's the top meet, not the average. They won the state championship last year. Seton Hall went the year before, so it's not, not indicative. You still jump lineups around. It's not going to be, obviously, a one-to-one thing as we head into the Hermit breast, or the 100 breast. So in the 100 breast for Salesianum, we have Jack Cordery in lane 2, Nate Miller in 4, and Nolan Burns in lane 6. And for the Hermits, they have Dante Buonadano in 5, Ben Stanker in 3, and Alex Morrison in 7. Like I said, but it is a good indicator, like if who's put up the top power-pointed meted time. Now, again, I don't think the Hermits have swam as fast as they can swim in a dual meet if Atlantic City is their highest right now. It'll be interesting to see where they place this one. But again, I think it's once you get that mainland, that EHT, and definitely that Cherry Hill meet is really where you're going to see, where this team's at and kind of where they're at power-pointed-wise, what kind of seed that's going to put them in. As you see Dante coming in first. Looks like the Hermits will take second as well. And the Hermits also get fourth. Salesianum gets third, fifth, and sixth. Another big points for the Hermits there. The Hermits will get 12 points. Go up to 98. Salesianum gets 4 points there. We'll go up to 58. And now we head to the JV. So for the Hermits in the 100 breast will be Aiden Fox in 5, Carter Sinalski in lane 3, and Gabe Schiller in 7. Let's take a look at CBA's schedule. Still got that Westfield match, so obviously they're going to put up a bunch of PowerPoints there. That's similar to the Cherry Hill East one for that. Like I said, Westfield's 2 in the state, Cherry Hill East is 3, Hermits are 1, CBA is 4. So they're going to put up there. They got the LaSalle, Pennsylvania. So I wonder how they'll do on that. I wonder how fast they'll swim compared to, like I said, we talked about Salesianum. I already swam them. And then they got Freehold, Borough and Freehold Township. So that's at least what they're showing on NJ.com. So a couple meets left for them to up their PowerPoints. If I think they're really going to go for it, it's going to be the LaSalle match on the 16th and the Westfield match on the 22nd. Like I said, the Hermits probably going to go, EHT, obviously mainland, but EHT on the 22nd and Cherry Hill East on the 26th. So you're really not going to know who's going to be that number 1 seed until after the Hermits go on the 26th. Now, I guess you'll have a decent idea, depending on how many PowerPoints they put CBA puts up at Westfield, but it should be interesting. You're kind of coming up on it more than you think. That's 2 weeks away is that Westfield CBA match, and all of a sudden you're pretty much, once you're into February, you're swimming. So we go to the 400 free relay. Let's switch back from my calendar. And for the Hermits, in lane 5 will be Anthony Mortalite, Jonah Alvarez, Jackson Cummings, and Dante Bonadonna. Lane 3 is Frank Frizzetti, Vince Ziller, Giovanni Cadiana, and Christian Shank. And in lane 7 is Andrew Newman, Alex Morrison, John Farinkas, and Mitchell Johnson. For Salesianum, it is Jack Cordery, Zach Baldino, Brady Lewis, and Andre Strutke in lane 2. Dylan Richtenbat, Alex Balkins, Emery Hess, and Tim Hanaway in lane 4. And Connor Schiller, Bradley Westport, Max Moore, and Bren Lunster in lane 6. math is wrong and the scoreboard's wrong, but they have it at 99.57. Maybe the touchpad's wrong, so that's why I got the wrong places written down. Does still look like they're keeping that 18 bracket style with the first and second seed getting the double bye. At least I'm looking at the NJSA kind of guidelines here. So if go to non-public sal, if we look at it end of today, and again it's going to change, that means the Hermits would get the winner of 4-5, which is Paula 6 versus Bishop Eustace. Paula 6 is undefeated, but you look at their power points and it's not exactly keeping up with the Hermits. Which, again, the way they do power points is how fast you swim a race. You get X amount of power points, and then that kind of calculates towards the score. So obviously, if you swim your 50 free in 21 seconds versus 25 seconds, you're going to get more points. So it's kind of a rough way to see who's better, who's doing well. But that'd be interesting. See, Paula 6 or Bishop Eustace haven't been here in swimming in a long, long time.
I ran out of memory. First five.
Sorry about that. I had to help my photographer with something. But the Hermits did end up taking that race, and they win the meet 111 to 59. Now we're on to the JV. Again, the Hermits take this one. That's what I was saying. So, I guess the winner will get. Notre Dame's having a solid year, 5-2, but they're power pointing pretty solid. But either way, they'll be kind of. It's kind of cool. And normally it's been like you got two races. So I guess it's just kind of adding one race for the Hermits because it was if you get number 1 or 2 seed, you get the double bye, and then you face like last year they faced Seton Hall in the semis and CBA in the finals, and that was it. Now they'll have to face. Whoever, Paula 6, Gloucester Catholic, Canada, Eustis, whatever, in the South semifinals, and then, again, you assume CBA in the finals. I'm doing a lot of assuming that we're going to make it there. And then you play the state finals. So it would add one more match for both CBA and St. Augustine this year, and everybody really up north too. We'll see how that kind of goes. Looks like Notre Dame's top power-pointed match was against Robbinsville. Picked up a loss against Plainsboro, West Windsor, Plainsboro North, and Princeton. But they swam okay in some of those races, so it'll be interesting to see. It's a whole different setup for the playoffs this year. It'll be cool to see how it all turns out. The non-public tournament will start on the 5th. Then we'll go to the 8th and then the 12th. You figure the Hermits will have a bye until the 12th, whether the 1 or the 2 seed. Looks like CBA or CBA and the Hermits are pretty much at the top of this non-public A South or non-public South. And from there, the next round is the 19th, which is at Neptune. Oh, it looks like they changed up the locations too. So it's at Neptune, and the state finals will be at Rutgers. So it had been an NJIT for years, then GCIT last year. I wonder if all the North teams were complaining about how far they had to drive for GCIT, but Hermits or the winner of the non-public South, like I said, the Hermits won that last year at GCIT. But the winner of the South will head up to Rutgers University for the state final on February 25th. So we will be off tomorrow from broadcasting. After that, we'll be on Wednesday. I'm going to see if I can get a second computer hooked up for the fencing match. But I believe I'll be sending most of the bulk of the equipment with the Kushner brothers, who've been live streaming all of our hockey games, to the St. Peter's game on Wednesday. After that, we will have another day or two off, and then we'll be back for basketball on Saturday versus Paul VI. So again, looks like the last swimmers are finishing up right now. Hermits take this one 111-59. And with that said, we will see you on Wednesday. And as always, go Hermits.